credit to Alabama for doing a great job tonight. Certainly looked us pretty good. We didn't have many counter punches for them. Just got out coached and outplayed today. So with that, I'll let you all ask you questions.
On those two scores, quick scores for the half, really cost it, what, 10-3, then it jumped to 24-3, right?
It did, you know, the dam broke a little bit. And, like I said, we didn't really have any good counter punches even coming back in the second half. You know, you'd like to reduce that a little bit. It just didn't happen. Too many mistakes. And, they played well.
Coach, should we read a lot into what happened quarterback play there, or was that just trying to get this season like?
Yeah, we're just trying to find some answers, trying to find some spark. I would say we were going to just have to, you know, reevaluate everything, you know, quarterback play and everything. So we'll see where we land. But yeah, the big thing was trying to find a change of momentum. It just didn't happen.
Mark, you had a few opportunities, the first few series, the first play of the game, the fumble in their territory, the penalty that gave you the first and goal, and you got 3 points out of it. How hard is it when you have that many opportunities and you don't get any?
Yeah, that was the thing. You know, early on, we just weren't very opportunistic. Like you said, you know, first play of the game, we did have a shot. If we get them on the run, to have a big play, not a touchdown. And just couldn't quite place it where we needed to. Like you said, you know, you kick a field goal, and then they rough the snapper. So, you know, you sit there and, should I take points off the board? Should I not? But you got to take points off the board and try to get a touchdown. We've not found a way to keep from even having a field goal attempt there. We did about to attempt a 52-yarder, looked like. But you know, fortunately, we scrambled around and we got the ball down the field close enough for another attempt at the field goal and made it. So that was good. But we just didn't take advantage of the opportunities that we had, like you said, on the front end, and then momentum got away from us, and we just didn't have a counter.
Did you take much to figure out where that momentum got away from you there, like right there at the end of the first half, you have a block punt, you get a touchdown. Did you almost sense that there was a little bit of deflation going after that?
Well, it's still early, you know. I mean, it's still first half of the ball game, so we know there's time to rally and get things going again. But yeah, it was discouraging, no doubt. But if you coach the game long enough, you know, 21 points is not a deficit that you can't come back on. You just got to, you know, bang away and get some points on the board and try to swing the momentum and all that. But we just were not able to do that.
Was there something specific Grayson was or wasn't doing that created the change, or was it just the whole offense?
Well, we just weren't moving the ball well. We weren't making plays. You know, he did hit a stretch where he was missed a few. You know, he started out, I don't know what it was, maybe 6 of 7, 6 of 9, something like that. And there was a string of a few that just had a few in a row that we weren't completing. And you know, we've always thought about having Bryce come in the game in the first half anyway. So at that point, we thought it was a good time to do it, see if we could get a little spark and work out that way.
There's success throwing the ball. That surprised you just how tough it was.
Their success? Well, part of it is, you know, when you run the ball pretty well, you're going to have some good play action pass. And when you have a lead, it's a little bit different feeling, you know, than when you're trying to come back, you know. So they got it in a position where they could throw when they wanted to and pick their shots a little bit and make good scheme and execute well.
Mark, what is this game?
We're just not good enough today. That's the main thing. It's a long season, and you know, there's a lot of games to be played. There's a lot of things to be played for. We understand that, but you know, when you have a game like today, first of all, any loss is painful. When you have a loss like that, you know, it's going to make us you know, go to the well and make sure we're doing the right right things, but we know it's a long season, we know there's a lot of opportunity coming up, but we know Tennessee's not gonna feel sorry for us, so we got a lot of work to do. And got to make a lot of good decisions starting tonight.
Mark, a lot of players we just spoke to pointed to mental errors, mistakes they made. Do you think the atmosphere contributed to that at all?
Oh, I don't know. I think first of all, we got a pretty good bunch of guys, and they're gonna take it as far as they're not gonna point the finger at someone else. They're gonna say, "This is what I did here and there, whatever it may be." And I'm sure there's a few mental errors here and there, but I don't know if that was what did us in as much as really not taking advantage of some opportunities and also not executing as good as we could and we should.
Coach, in a game like this, you guys are always talking about trying to keep the players focused on the very next week, very next game, the most important thing. But what's the coaches meeting like? What's it like when you guys talk to each other about a loss like this?
Well, you just have to look at every phase of what you're doing. I mean, it starts with the film, just to make sure we all know exactly what happened. Because you can have some thoughts and then look at the film and say, well, I thought it was this, but it really wasn't. So we've got to make sure that we do a great job of studying the film and finding the things that were problematic, and we got to address them. Do you address it by personnel? Do you address it by changing scheme? Do you address it by, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. So, and then you got to be willing to make changes if need be, or you just got to be patient and consider that guys are learning as you go. It's just sometimes it's just like on the punt block. We think we know what happened. We're pretty sure we knew what happened, but we're gonna watch that film to be sure. But you get one guy makes a mistake, blocks the wrong guy, turns to somebody free inside. You got to block punt. It's a problem. But if you say, oh well, we got to take him out, and put another guy, and then you start training that guy from scratch. Sometimes when you make a mistake like that, lessons learned that that is meaningful the rest of your career. So you don't start from scratch. But sometimes you may say, you know what, this guy has had an issue over and over and over. We got to replace him. We got to give another guy a chance. So those are some things you got to think about, trying to determine what to do.
Why do you think your two quarterbacks struggled so much?
Why? I think Alabama played well. I think they squeezed the pocket. I think it was less space than what they're used to. I think that the coverage was better than what we've seen to this point, tighter coverage. And of course, the conditions weren't great. It's not kind of what you dial up to try to throw and catch all day long. So I'm sure that had a little bit to do with it. But, and again, we can watch tape and see exactly what happened. There's a couple things that I'm pretty sure that happened that caused a pick on one particular play. But I'm not going to throw somebody on the bus until I'm 100% sure that. Well, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, period. But I think there's a simple mistake by somebody that caused that to happen. And we got to learn and grow from those things.
Like Hunter Long played a lot of swing in the second half.
Well, Brandon, I can't remember exactly what it was, but a lower leg injury that was just bothering him, and he just couldn't push off. We felt like he couldn't get any movement up front. We just needed to get a guy that was healthy. He was kind of gutting it out. I'm sorry. Yeah. Kublana was. Isaiah looked like a hamstring again. I don't know. It's hard to say. That's what it looked like. Dominique, I saw him after the game. I asked him if he was okay. He said he was, but I didn't talk to him. I don't know.
Did you ever feel like y'all were getting in rhythm at all today on any aspect, really?
I mean, there's some times I thought we played some pretty good defense in the front end. And then it's just like a couple times we punted, it's 4th and 1 or less, deep in our territory. I mean, you can go for it if you want, but it's probably not wise if you don't make it. So it wasn't like we were getting, at least there was 1 or 2 drives that seemed like it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 1 short. We let So we were having some progress, but not enough progress to move the chains. But no, rhythm, no, we never got any kind of rhythm, especially offensively.
On the short yardage punts, do you think you were a little too conservative there, or do you think those?
Well, early in the game, still a close game. Those things are great when you make them, but when you don't, it's just a lot of momentum that you give up as well. But I'm trying to think of all of them. I know at least one of them was, fairly deep in our territory, and that's early in the game. I think it's the wise thing to do. There's one a little bit closer to midfield, I think, that we could have at that point, but it was still relatively early in the game.
Was the running game issues a matter of numbers in the box, or were these guys still?
I think, I don't know, I wouldn't say we were outnumbered a bunch. I would say that we just didn't get the kind of movement that we needed. You gotta create space with your big man, you gotta create space with your tight end and fullback by, getting your hat in the right spot, running your feet, doing things right fundamentally. We just really weren't getting any creases. We got a little bit better as the game went on, but we did a nice job.
Mark, after 3 games, and how they came out on the field, it seemed like the team's going to get the good.
I thought it was, actually thought it was kind of mild, quite frankly. But, guys get excited, they jump around, get fired up and all that, but I was coaching at Florida State when we played Florida every year, and it was like, that was pregame stuff. That was very mild. Thankfully it didn't turn into something real stupid, but I didn't think much of it.
Grand scheme of things, and Joe, your guys versus records, what's that one out there?
I was glad for the kid. I was glad for Georgia to see us get in the end zone. I mean, heard some cheering. That was nice. So that was the highlight of the day.
Can you learn?
Offensively, anyway.
I'm sorry, can you learn more from losses than wins, generally speaking?
You probably do. You probably do. As much as we work hard at making corrections after victories, you tend to maybe dig a little deeper when you lose.
Because you had a guy like Trent Thompson there his first start today, and I know you hadn't gone back and looked at the film, but you got a young guy holding up, and he's like to play pretty well.
It's hard to say. I didn't even look at the stats, see if he get any tackles and all. Sometimes a D lineman can have a great game and not even make a tackle if he does his job. But he's progressed enough to we've got enough confidence in him to start him. A very talented young man and hard worker, and I think his best football's ahead of him.
So the other issue was how they defensively kind of take away Grayson.
Well, I think they were able to stop the run without putting themselves in a bad position in coverage. And they've got good cover people. They match up routes real well. They got guys, there weren't guys running free out there. I don't know if anybody ran free out there. The first play of the game was as close as we got to somebody running free. It seemed like the whole game. So it's a tribute to the job they did covering. But that's part of football. You gotta be able to throw it in tight coverage and put it in a spot where we can get it and they can't. You gotta be able to protect, give that quarterback space, and the quarterback's gotta be able to put it on the money. We just didn't get it done today.
Would you be more impressed with getting out of this game? How about the defense or the misses offense?
Well, I didn't even think about Ole Miss tonight. Alabama's defense is outstanding. They have been for years. That's nothing new.
Last question.
All right, Gabe, thank you.